right, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. And let me say it one more time. Good morning. How are you all doing? I hope that you're doing well on this wonderful, terrific Tuesday. My name is David M. Pinson, I go by the name of DMP Speaks. And welcome to Family Morning Transformation. For if this is your first time, I am an empowerment speaker, Christian counselor, and a family restoration specialist where I come to rebuild and grow your family dynamic. I do these every Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. and on Saturday mornings at 8:30 a.m. So as you come in, please let me know where you're watching from, what city, what state, what country, because we are becoming international. And I'm not just saying that, I'm saying this because it's true, because I want to help every family. And I believe every family is worth restoring. Let me say that one more time. I truly believe in my heart of hearts every family is worth restoring. And I do believe that. What I want to do this morning is talk about this. And I mentioned this on yesterday. And please share this before I start. Please share this. And I want to know as you come in, how are you doing? Sometimes we don't really ask when we do our lives and we do our masterminds. How are you doing? How are you feeling on today? That's what I would like to know. I hope everyone is doing well and is healthy. So I need you guys, please, 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 to share this with someone, share it with a family member, share it with a friend, share it with someone that needs some help, but they're either afraid or they got anxiety about, making some changes in their family, but they just need some support. I want to be that support to them, and I'm hoping that something that I say today will actually positively make a huge impact in their lives. So, what I want to talk about just very quickly is the topic parenting or parents admitting they're wrong with their child. That's what I want to talk about this morning. And again, if you could share this, that would be wonderful. Give me one second. Apologize for moving around so much. There we go. Thank you. All right. So I talked about this topic yesterday. Um, Parents feeling a lack of respect from their child. And I got some good feedback, right? But I also did say that we're going to talk about how parenting is hard, right? We've been talking about that continuously for today. But parents have to admit when they're wrong with their child. What do I mean by that? Now, sometimes we don't want to admit this, but there are times that we are wrong. Sometimes we don't always get it right the first or second or third time. So I'm not saying you got to put yourself on the chopping block for your child to be disrespectful to you, but we also have to admit our wrong. We have to admit our slippers. We got to admit our wrong decisions. We got to admit the things that we have done in front of our child, the things that we have said in front of our child, right? The things that we allowed to go on in front of our child. Because you have to remember, your adult child, that young adult, they don't forget too much. I'll say it again. They don't forget too much. They don't forget certain things that you have said because you know what they did? They heard or they seen something. They imprinted it in their brain. It might not be in the forefront, the frontal lobe of their brain. But they remember. They remember what you said to them that hurt their feelings. They remember what you said to them that kind of brought their self-esteem and their confidence down. They remember the things that you have said. They remember the things that you made, how they made, or how you made them feel. Excuse me, because I had like 3 or 4 thoughts. How you made them feel at that particular time. And because they remember and they did a copy and a paste into their brains and their brain cells. And they said, you said this to them. You said that to them. You made them feel that they weren't good enough, or you made them feel, or I'm going to put it like this, and this is something I hear a lot. You're just like your father. And if you're talking about that child's father in such a negative tone, they're going to remember that. If you said that they weren't, maybe you didn't say they weren't smart enough. I'll change that around. Maybe if you didn't say that they were smart enough, but you acted like that they couldn't change. They did some things, or some things happened, and they asked you for guidance. They asked you some questions, but you never can give the answer back. And you wonder why that young adult or that adult child might not be. They got to start admitting our wrong. And I know it's tough to do. I'll say it again. It's very tough to do. It's like it's like an oxymoron. We don't want to admit as parents sometimes when we are wrong, how we have affected our children because of some of the decisions that we have made. I know this is sticky this morning, but listen, I'm in the business of helping and serving your family. So I have to talk about things that are tough. You, parent, you, guardian, have made some bad mistakes, but you also have made some bad decisions. And your child was affected, whether you knew that or not, or whether you wanted to admit that at this time or not. There are things that you have said, there are actions that you have made, there are decisions that you have made that has affected your child. And you have to, as the parent with this adult child, if you want your relationship to be better. Now, if you don't want your relationship to be better with your child, keep not admitting. But if you want things to be better with your child, there are things that you have to start to uncover, to unravel, so that you can let your child know, listen, yes, mom, or yes, dad, or yes, grandma said this, or she did this, or I did this, or he did this. But at that time, I had to do what I had to do. But a lot of times we don't want to do it because we're the parent. I'll say it again, because we're the parent, and because we're the parent, we don't admit our wrong. Again, it's not bringing you down to a lower place or to be an equal with your child. And I talked about that with them, with the child not having respect for you, because some children feel what I talked about yesterday. Some children feel because they're adult now that they could talk to you in a kind of way. No, 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 no. You're not on the same playing field. You're still the parent, right? You still have authority over that child, even if they're grown, but there's a certain way that you have to treat them now because they're not in your home anymore. You're not fully responsible for them. You're responsible for loving them and being supportive. But that adult child is hurting because of something that you said. That adult child is hurting and they're not talking to you as much because their trust is not really there or it's gone. And there's something that you as the parent have to do. Keywords have to do. You should want to if you want to have a better relationship with your child. But that is something that you absolutely have to make a decision to do because a lot of families are suffering because the parent won't admit they're wrong. They won't admit the things that they have said when they were growing up wasn't the greatest. A lot of kids suffer from depression and anxiety, if we could be honest, because of parents' decision making and the things that they have said that really rock their mental and emotional world and have placed a lot of heavy burdens on them, trying to be someone, trying to live up to a certain standard. And because they couldn't live up to a certain standard from the guardian, however you want to call it, then that child feels insignificant, feel like they can't do anything, they can't evolve into this person that they should be or who they were purposed to be. Because again, everybody has a purpose. Everybody, I'll say it again, I'll say it slowly. Everyone in this world has a purpose, including your child. And why am I bringing this out like this? You, parent, have to admit you got to come to your child, first of all, and ask for forgiveness. But before forgiveness comes, you got to admit, I was wrong. Say it with me, parents. You got to say, I was wrong and I'm sorry. I'll say it again. You have to admit that particular thing that you did and that you said, the decision that you made, you got to say, daughter, son, baby, I'm sorry for X, Y, and Z. Can you forgive me? I want to start over with you. I don't want the same relationship that we've been having. Ah, and somebody said, yes, what did she say? That it's hard for people to admit they're wrong, but it's necessary for growth. And that's true. That's true. It is hard. It's hard as a parent. It's hard as a parent to admit you're wrong. But a lot of times it's not even admitting you're wrong. Sometimes it's just admitting certain choices that you had to make that the child might not have understood and it might have affected them. Maybe they weren't around their parent, maybe were around their mother, maybe they weren't around their grandmother, maybe they weren't around their father, maybe they weren't around for certain things. But we got to get to a place that we are being honest with ourselves first, and we have to be honest with our child so that our relationship doesn't continue to be tarnished. And yes, and parents have to model that. Somebody said that. I'm taking that. I'm gonna take that. Parents do have to model this. And you do have to be honest with yourself first. The reason why I'm taking my time with this because change has to come to you first. Seeing that you're in the wrong has to come to you first. And again, admitting that you are in the wrong, that you made a mistake, that you made a bad call, that is something that you have to confess to. You have to confess to. Why am I saying this again? You have to confess, you have to be open. Because here's the thing, the reason why I'm saying this, if I go over my time, I'm just going to have to because I really feel a push for this. Is when you push yourself to admit that you are wrong, even though it's difficult, you are letting your child know, listen, I'm making myself vulnerable enough to tell you that I want a relationship with you, with your adult child. You're going to great lengths, great sacrifices to tell your child, I want our relationship back. I want to reconnect to you because I need you in my life. And I also need my grandchild or my grandchildren in my life. And I don't want to lose that. I've already lost months. Some of you have lost years. Some of you have lost over a decade being around your adult child and your grandchildren. And I know that hurts you every single day. Some of you look at pictures, you look at photos on your phone, you have pictures on the wall, and you look at your child and you look at your grandchild and you whimper and you cry and you weep at night. I know you do because you want that relationship back. You want that access to your grandchild, But because you're not talking to your adult daughter or your adult son like that, it's eating you up. You're going to work, but it's eating you up. You're going to church, but it's eating you up. But it doesn't have to be like that. Does that make sense? Are you hearing what I'm putting out? Family, please. Parents, please. I'm making a clarion call this morning. You have, if this is what you want, if you want this relationship with your child, you absolutely positively got to open yourself up to your adult child, and you got to admit you're wrong. We have so many tarnished relationships between parents and adult children. It hurts. I couldn't imagine not being able to talk to my mom every day. But again, everybody's situation is different. My relationship with my mother is different than yours with your parent, and vice versa. But that doesn't mean that your relationship cannot grow. It doesn't mean that your relationship with your adult child can't change. The only way that it can change if you do something about it. The only way that it can change if you pray and you believe in what you're praying, and you saying, God, I need my child back in my life. I need my family back in my life. I need them. And because I need them, God, open the door. Please. I'm ready to forgive, and I'm ready to be forgiven. I'm ready to be forgiven. I want to admit my wrong because I need my child back in my life. I need my grandchildren because, again, like I said yesterday, this is your legacy. Mom, dad, grandma, granddad, it's your legacy. Your children, your children's children is your legacy. So, as I close this morning, I'm hoping that I said something to encourage you, to push you, I'm saying to make you even feel a little uncomfortable in a good way to make action. So let me say this in my closing. If you're a parent that really needs this, and I'm not going to beat you over the head, but I'm just going to give it to you straight. If you are looking to reconnect to your adult child and you miss them and you want them back in your life, I want you to go to my social media platforms, and I want you to click on the link, and I want you to sign up for your free 30-minute consultation call with me. And I'm going to do everything in my natural power to help you reconnect to your adult child. Because again, and I'm going to say this every single day, every family is worth restoring. One more time. Every family is worth restoring. Guys, thank you so much for your time. Check me out tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you all. Take care. Peace.